So if you're not aware, the next standard rotation is just around the corner. When we get the first expansion for 2017, we're going to see 3 expansions rotate out. Black Rock Mountain, the League of Explorers, and the Grand Tournament. So all cards in that set are going to move from standard to wild. And so I want to highlight what are the 10 most impactful cards that we're going to be losing in 2017. Now, we don't know exactly when this is going to happen. Some speculate it's going to happen next month in February, and the late daters put it at April. Now, the last 2 expansions for the first ones of the year did happen in April, but there are some good indications that it's going to happen earlier this year. So I would suspect sometime in February, or I would say March at the latest. Now, without further ado, here is my top 10 list. Now, just to be clear what this is not 10 most overpowered cards that we're going to be losing. It's not the 10 most cards that I like. I think this is the 10 most impactful cards. And that means that basically because of the feature set, which is so unique, which could be used in many different ways for so much value, or just that it was played in almost every deck and or that it was an overpowered card that, that we're going to be losing. That's what made up my top 10. So here we go. First one on the list, Imp Gang Boss. Now, I know that's not a huge bang to start off with. It's a pretty generic card. But the thing about Imp Gang Boss, it's a 3-drop for Warlock, which has 2/4 in stats, and that anytime the minion takes damage, it spawns a 1/1 Imp. Now, if you've been playing Hearthstone these last few years, you know that since this card was introduced, it's been in every single Warlock deck. And that's because it's so powerful. I mean, it was in every Zoo deck, and also was in every Reno Lock deck. I mean, Imp Gang Boss is such a good card. It's an amazing 3-drop that Warlocks will definitely be sad to lose. Number 9 is one of my favorites, Elise Starseeker. Elise shuffled a map into your deck, and that map costs 2 mana, and then when you shuffled that, it shuffled the Golden Monkey into your deck. And so when you got the Golden Monkey, it transformed all your cards into legendaries. And this was a great late game finisher for control decks. Specifically, it saw the most play in Control Warrior, where you can take a bunch of Acolytes of Pain or Shield Slam, some spells, Revenge, Whirlwinds, whatever you had, and towards the late game when those cards were going to be semi-useless, and you can transform them into legendaries for a late game finish. Now, this card was so unique, it was so fun, and it will surely be missed. The 8th card, Just a Card Trueheart, a 6/3 minion that gives you an upgraded hero power. Now, the body of this minion was pretty weak. It almost surely died as soon as you played. It was an easy trade, but nobody played it for the body. The body, it was always for the hero power. It definitely saw the most play, once again, in Warrior. It was a staple in Control Warrior ever since it came out, but it also got some play in some other decks, notably Priest, and sometimes Druid or Mage as well. But Warrior will definitely miss this card the most. Now for number 7, it's the archetype of dragons, and I've highlighted 2 cards that highlight the strength of this deck, and that was Twilight Guardian, a 3/6 taunt as long as you had a dragon in your hand, and Blackwing Corruptor, a 5/4 minion that deals 3 damage to face or to a minion if you're holding a dragon in your hand. Now these 2 cards were extremely powerful, both an excellent taunt and something, it's called a mini fire elemental, just the battle cry effect plus also a good body with Blackwing Corruptor. But really, this is the end of the dragon archetype unless they add a bunch of new dragons in the next expansion or upcoming expansions. Priest is definitely the class that played it the most, but there are so many, even though that there's new good dragons that were added, like Draconoid Operative, we're losing so many dragons. Unless there are new really good dragons in this next expansion, we can expect that all dragon archetypes, including Dragon Priest, will be dead. Number 6 is Flamewaker. Now, Flamewaker, since the latest expansion of Gadgetistan, has not really seen any play because the Tempo Mage deck just is not very powerful anymore. It's a lot like Zoo. It was played a lot, but at the current moment it's not. Now, Flamewaker as a minion has been haunting us ever since it was released. An extremely, I would say, overpowered card at 3 mana. It's a 2/4 that whenever a spell is casted, deals 2 random damage to either the face or to minions. And it's what really made the Tempo Mage deck, and it was just at the right sweet spot at 3 mana, really low cost, and also 4 health, so it was hard to kill. You couldn't kill with, like, you know, a War Axe, or it was just an extremely powerful card that, even though we're not seeing it played right now, it is definitely an impactful and, I would say, overpowered card that will be missed by some, not me. For number 5, you can't highlight one without the other. Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem. Another set of 2 cards that have been in almost every Shaman deck except Control. Extremely powerful cards that really made the Overload synergy work well. You know, Tunnel Trog, Coin, Wolves, Tunnel Trog, Totem Golem, Tunnel Trog, Spirit Claws. There's just so much early power pressure that you can make to make a really big Totem Golem and a big Tunnel Trog, I mean. And then Totem Golem was incredible stats for at 2 mana, which could pretty much trade with anything on the board. Very hard to remove at turn 2 or even 3. So it's just 2 very impactful cards that Shaman is going to be losing. Now, number 4 is Sir Finley Murgleton. Has a very unique power to where you're able to transform your hero power to another classes. Now, what that was able to do is you were able to take archetypes that were generally control or like warrior, or that didn't really help the aggro set like Shaman, and just pick a much better and a stronger hero power, such as the Warlock hero power to draw more cards, or the Hunter hero power to deal damage, and you were able to make a better aggro deck from typically non-aggro classes. And so that will be a very impactful card that will be missed, and so you can expect that aggro decks will now be kind of you know, play more with ones that work with its hero power. I mean, one of the strongest aggro decks early was both Hunter and Warlock because of those 2 hero powers. And now that other classes aren't going to be able to take that and make that their hero power, we might see the aggro decks kind of more go towards those that have a natural hero power that works well with that. The third is Bronzebeard. What a powerful card. It's once again got that great 2/4 stats at 3 mana, just like Flamewaker was. So it's a good card and body in itself, but also just the Battlecry effect, just huge. Just whenever you cast a Battlecry card, it casts twice. So it was able to be played in any type of you know, Jade deck, or any type of control deck where you want to, you know, outvalue your opponent. You know, you can wait till like turn 8, 9, 10 mana, whenever, and just play a couple Battlecry cards right afterwards, and just be able to just outvalue your opponent. And so that's an extremely powerful card. Number 2 has been always one of my favorites. This is Emperor Thorison. So at the end of your turn, you can decrease every single card in your hand by 1, and that happens at the end of every single turn. Now, Emperor Thorison, I knew the second it came out, it was just going to be huge. The first day it came out, even though you got it for free because it was an adventure, I went ahead and crafted it in gold because I knew it was going to be in almost everything. Now, the thing about Emperor being gone is it means that there's going to be a lot less OTK combos. Like, for example, it really hurts Malygos decks, because Malygos costs 9, it really relied on getting almost free spells. And also going to hurt Archmage Antonidas decks, to where they're trying to discount both Archmage and some spells to get a lot of fireballs. So really, there's a couple combos that are going to be harder to be pulled off because of Emperor being gone. So Freeze Mage, even though it's not being played right now, and like I said, any type of Malygos deck. It's also going to be stop things like the current finisher for Reno Warlock, which is the 20 damage Faceless Manipulator, Leroy, Power Overwhelming, because that's 11 mana, and you needed to play Emperor Thorison with one piece of it first to discount. And so there's lots of things like that. So having this card gone is going to stop a lot of combos that we've been used to seeing, and a lot of also really fun decks that were tried out that weren't really that competitive, but that kind of relied on Emperor to be able to do. And the number one most impactful card that we're going to be losing with the standard rotation is Reno Jackson. Now, Reno Jackson, a good strong 4/6 card that if you don't have any duplicates in your deck, you can restore to full health. Now, this made the control archetype be able to hang in there against decks like, aggro shaman and aggro warrior and any aggro deck, because you were able to still draw and kind of not worry so much about your health total, because you know that you could heal for full. And Reno decks are very popular. We're seeing Reno Mage, Priest, Warlock, and I'm not 100% sure. It really depends if they give any more. Like we got Kazakus recently. It'll be interesting to see if throughout 2017, maybe not in the first expansion, but maybe throughout the year, if they give any more cards to incentivize having 30 unique cards. I don't think we're going to see, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think Kazakus is enough to allow the Reno style control decks continue with 30 unique cards. It may be, but I think we're going to need another impactful card to replace Reno for that archetype to continue. So guys, that's my 10 most impactful cards list, but I'm really curious to hear from you guys. Is there one card that I mentioned that you're saddest to lose or can't wait until it's gone? Or is there a card that I didn't even mention? Because there are a lot of great cards that we're going to be losing too that you think should have made this list. Make sure you leave a comment down below, and I'll look forward to reading all your responses. Okay guys, until next time, keep grinding. Hey, thanks so much for checking out my video. I'd appreciate if you just take a quick second to like and comment below. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. If you're not connected with me yet, make sure you subscribe right here on YouTube. And also, if you can't get enough of LegendJeremy, you can check out this video right here. Okay guys, until next time, keep grinding.